All right, team, let's go ahead and get started. You didn't come, well, we'll get to the networking. I was going to say you didn't come just to talk with everybody, but we did. We'll get to the networking at the end. Tracy will lead that. But welcome to virtual coffee and conversation. Hopefully, like we said, everybody has their coffee cup, their coffee getting ready. We're going to have some conversation, and then at the end we'll get into a little bit of networking. Tracy will lead us through that. We certainly do miss our host location, the Carolina Theater. So. Thank you to them. We're seeing them do some virtual things, so check out their lineup. They're doing some really innovative things. We miss our catering. Deep Roots, Ainsley has one of those to-go parfaits. If you got one, look at that. So you don't have to necessarily have to be at the Carolina Theater to enjoy Deep Roots Market. You can get your groceries and your breakfast, or you could make your groceries your breakfast. We could do all that sort of stuff. But Deep Roots, we miss them. We have a digital drawing. We always do a digital. We always do a drawing. This one's digital. So if you've got your phone out and you want to text PERK, PERK to 55678. 55678. You fill out that registration. We'll put the instructions in the chat coming up here. So if you missed that, you can always go down to the chat function. The first prize, and you can tell this is a COVID prize unlike any other, it is 50 masks from Proforma Promographics. So 50 masks. We all need those. If you're out in public, please wear your mask. Prize 2, a $25 gift certificate from Deep Roots. So again, PERK to 55678 will get you there. We'll put that in chat here very soon. We always have to thank our Circle of Champions. You see them up there on the screen. At the platinum level, Legacy Federal Credit Union, Cone Health, Lincoln Financial Group, Reliant Federal Credit Union, and VF Corporation. Gold is Novant Health, and silver is Global Brands Group, Kelly Office Solutions, Ralph Lauren, Staunton Capital, and Wake Forest Baptist Health. We thank them for helping us put all of these programs on an annual basis, and we do them virtually this year thanks to COVID-19. So 2020, here we go. All right, we got a great program today. We want to talk to you about a great program in our community that many of you all may not know about, but we want you to, just because it's so special. And so we've got two wonderful folks with us, two of my favorite people in the community, even though one is a Tar Heel fan and one is a Tar Heel for real. But they are two of my very favorite people in the community. The first is Ivey Ghee. She's a small business owner and lead consultant at the Hospitality Ghee LLC, which specializes in motivating hospitable behavior in the workplace. She's an energetic, outgoing motivational speaker who loves spreading her joy and passion throughout Greensboro and beyond. Ivey received an LGBTQ Community Enrichment Award in 2018 from Elon University. She also was made in Greensboro in 2017, featured as a community builder, and has done just that, serving on the following boards: the Reformed Liaison Program from 2011 through 2015, the Guilford Green Foundation from 2011 to 2016, the Guilford College Employer Advisory Board from 2014 to 16, and she currently serves on the LGBTQ Advisory Board for Guilford County Schools. She has been involved in Anytown as an adult advisor since 2017 and currently serves as a contract facilitator with NCCJ programs in local middle and high schools. And she's joined by Ivan Canada, who's Executive Director of the National Conference for Community and Justice of the Piedmont Triad, so NCCJ, a community-focused human relations organization. He previously worked with Guilford Green Foundation as Executive Director and Director of Special Projects. Ivan has been awarded the Triad Business Journal's 40 Leaders Under 40 Award, the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce's Change Agent Award, and has been recognized by Southerners on New Ground, SONG, and Emerging Practitioners of Philanthropy, EPIP. He's currently serving on the National Board of Young Nonprofit Professionals Network, is a community board member of the S.J. Edwards Foundation, a member of the Board of Visitors for the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, and has served on numerous other boards and committees over the past decade. He graduated, and Ainsley made sure I had this. She told us this morning. Graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with a bachelor's degree in economics and in journalism and mass communication. Can we make sure we mute that, whoever that was that just had to interject that? I'm sure that was Ivy. So anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Ivy and Ivan. Ivan, I think you're going to share your screen to get you through the program, but tell us about Anytown. Tell us everything and anything we need to know about Anytown.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Brent, for that introduction. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started this morning. Thank you all for allowing Ivy and I to take up a little time this morning to talk a little bit about NCCJ and Anytown. And I also want to just say it's an honor and a privilege to be able to lead NCCJ. Some of you all may know NCCJ through our work in the community. And so to be here at this moment in our community's time is an honor and a privilege to be a part of helping think about how we can do better with our neighbors, learn to listen better, and move to collective action when we think about some of the inequalities that exist here. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. And I also just celebrated my 5-year anniversary as executive director on Monday. So the timing of everything happening in the world is kind of special to have been here. So really quick, Brent already hit this. NCCJ is a human relations organization. Our mission is to build compassionate and just communities free of bias, bigotry, and racism. And you saw that picture before. I always like to say I have a board almost probably as large as the chamber board is. And there's some really great community leaders that serve on this board that help us think about our work of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our community. So really quickly, our history of an organization, we were founded in 1927 at the height of some religious intolerance that was happening when Al Smith was running for president, a Catholic was running. And so we originally were founded as a interfaith understanding organization. And so thus the NCCJ used to stand for National Conference of Christians and Jews. And the Piedmont Triad chapter here started in 1937. And the name change happened to the National Conference for Community and Justice in the early 2000s to be a little bit more reflective that we were doing work outside of just religious interfaith work, but we're really beginning to tackle issues of diversity in the workplace and in communities around race, gender, sexual orientation, things of that nature. A piece of interesting fact, there is no longer a national organization. So one of the things locally that we have been doing, because the brand NCCJ is so strong here, is we've just started referring to ourselves as NCCJ. There's not a national organization. We are part of a very loose affiliated group of previous NCCJs around the country. At the height of NCCJ National, there were about 65 organizations around the country. And now we are down to about 12 or 13. And so you think about the issues that we work with, the case could be made, we really could use all 65, 70 of those organizations working and doing this work across the country. So we are also the last remaining NCCJ chapter in the state of North Carolina. There was one in Charlotte, but when the national organization dissolved, that was around the period that the Charlotte one folded. So I am from Greensboro. That might not have been clear. And so I always feel that Greensboro is a very special place when it comes to this kind of work. And so I think because of our commitment to diversity and inclusion in this community, and so many of the great leaders of the organization, that is why ours is still standing compared to some other ones. So I think it's a crown jewel of our community. So what we do, so I think a lot of people sort of struggle, well, what does NCCJ do? In essence, we promote understanding and respect among all people. And we do that through leadership training and programs for all ages all over North Carolina, specifically in the Piedmont Triad area. And you can see last year, our programs reached roughly about 5,500 people through youth and adult programming. The two things that if I say I work at NCCJ, I get, people either know one of these two things. They either know the Citation Award dinner that we hold in the fall, which is a large community event with over 1,000 diverse folks that come together for a fundraiser for NCCJ, but I also think it's a community building event for our community. And then lastly, Anytown, which is how we're going to spend most of our time today talking. And I'm going to turn it over to Ivy to be able to do this when we get to that part. But we work with students, educators, businesses, government entities, community groups, anyone who is wanting to think about how their organization can become more inclusive and live out the values that a lot of organizations claim to have when it comes to inclusion and fairness and equity. So just a little bit of that. Here are a couple of organizations we've worked with in the past year or two on the corporate side. And now I want to switch gears and talk about Anytown, which I know why my good friend Ivy is with us today. And I'm going to give you all just a little bit of scaffolding and framework about Anytown and just turn it over to Ivy to talk about her experience of coming up as an adult advisor for the past 3 years and why she's so passionate about it. This is our flagship program. We've been doing it for over 30 years. It started in the late 80s, and we've got roughly over 3,000 alumni. It's the only program of its kind in North Carolina. As you can imagine, when NCCJs were closing in the mid-2000s, when the national organization was closing, a lot of communities lost their Anytown. And so these are really unique programs that bring together diverse high school students to create friendships across difference. I always like to say that this is a very personal experience for young people at a formative time in their life when they can sort of begin to reflect on who they are, the person they want to be in the world, and then how can they show up for other people when they go back into their schools and in communities around diversity and inclusion topics. And so at Anytown, the students are tackling really tough questions around race, religion, sexual orientation, privilege. And then at the end of it, they're really beginning to think about what can they do within their schools to bring about change around these issues. The format of Anytown is a week-long program. Is structured around each day having a big program, so to speak, covering one of the dimensions of diversity, whether that's religion, race, sexual orientation. And those are led by NCCJ professional staff and some of our key long-term volunteers. Throughout the day at Anytown, there's opportunity for small group discussion conversations that are led by their peers. So we take about 68 students up to Anytown. We run 2 sessions, June and July. And we take about 25 staff members up as well. And half of that staff are made up of college-age students that have been to Anytown that come back every year to be able to help lead their peers through Anytown in this format. And so they're the ones that are leading the small group conversations. They're the ones leading campfire in the evening, which is, I think, a really special thing about Anytown, where we allow them to reflect on the day and share what is sitting with them, maybe make some promises to themselves and have a space for their peers to hold them accountable. And one of the things that also makes Anytown really unique around this is that we take the students' cell phones away from them for the week. So they are in the mountains of Blowing Rock only with each other. And no sort of outside interference around that. And so I think while we get a lot of pushback around no cell phones, once they get up there, they're very grateful for the fact that they can really be present with their peers that they're meeting that they probably didn't know beforehand. And then obviously throughout just being and living together for a week, there's a ton of informal opportunities such as meals, free time, and cabin time to discuss topics in unstructured environments. So just a couple of things that are really special about Anytown. We intentionally recruit for diversity. We try to have the diversity mirror the diversity of our community. We are thinking about independent schools. Obviously, the public school system provides a lot of students. We have a very open application process, so you don't have to be nominated by someone in your school. You could just know this is going on and apply. Thanks to so many folks in the community, we have a very generous need-based financial assistance for folks, so money never gets in the way of this opportunity. So many youth-led components, which I also think is important. And I think the last thing that I'll say before I turn it over to Ivy to talk some is that students begin to show up differently after this experience. They feel really connected, they feel powerful, they feel that their voice matters, and that they feel seen. And so we see that across the board. And so for me to be able to be the leader of an organization that helps create this is a really exciting thing for us to do. And I'm proud to say the board has started having some conversations around what does it look like for us to potentially begin to offer this program to more students outside of Guilford County, because right now it is limited just to students in Guilford County. So I'm going to stop talking for a bit and allow, I'm sure who a lot of people came to hear from today, the fabulous Ivy Ghee, to share some of the stuff about why she believes Anytown is so special and why she continues to come back. So Ivy, I'll turn it over to you.
Number one, thank you, Ivan, for giving me just what you give me. And I say that with delight and with thankfulness on Thankful Thursday. Anytown to me is, like you said, a privilege. My first year going on the mountain and sharing my story, leading the sexual orientation program, really taught me that sharing and inspiring people is a calling for me and a passion for me. Like Ivan said, at those campfires during the evenings, I think that there's a place and a acceptance and validation that's in that circle that a lot of us seek and need to just get by. And the first year I went on the mountain, number one, I think that everyone has that little guilty, like, oh, I didn't get to do this when I was younger type of experience, but it's so magical, so moving when you get to experience these future leaders and you hear from them in a way such as building that space where they are so free to say, you know what, I have been through a lot more than what I think a child needs to go through, you know, and I think that at that moment with them being able to release that little bit of pressure, okay, so it's a buildup. It is definitely a buildup. So we hop off as the kids come to the mountain. We are singing, singing, and these kids, number one, that don't have their cell phones, that got forced probably to come to camp, are looking at us like, no, like what? Why are they singing to me? Okay. Then once they get off the bus and they start moving around and getting into the space, and the tone is set for it to be a safe space, you know, and I know how important that is, just to have a safe space where people are able to be their true, authentic self. They just, watching it grow, it gets me so motivated. It gets me so passionate about this organization, because when you can see and have those kids help and lead each other, walking through the high schools, because Anytown, as Ivan said, is so much more than just the camp and the engagement in the community. So going into the schools and seeing the delegates, and they're saying, hey, Miss Ivy, and I'm talking about big football players who have experienced Anytown, who have come to us to say, I need you to know that I have started a diversity and inclusion group at my school, because I found my voice, and I know that my voice has privilege, and I want to help those who aren't as privileged as I am. I mean, that's what this I get the luxury, just like Ivan got the luxury of experiencing other voices by the chamber. So this is the young youth being able to not feel bad or guilty about things that they can't control, like the color of their skin, like the privilege that they have that both of their parents graduated from high school, or the privilege that they have of being a male. You know, with them being in that space and coming to terms, but being able to walk away, like Ivan said, being seen, it's just a refreshing thing. I get the luxury of leading the sexual orientation program out at Anytown, and I get to share that experience in a way because I'm a product of that experience. You know, I get to share that experience in a way that protects kids of understanding that sometimes parents don't always have the right answers, and to make sure that we slow down just a little bit to educate. You know, make sure that they find the courage to and confidence just to believe in themselves through those things. The first time, like I said, I told them about how I was able to put basketball as a passion into something. And there was a personal connection because a kid raised their hand after I told my story, crying, telling me, my mom won't let me play basketball because my mom says that those are things that, you know, you get the stereotype, you get labeled this or you get labeled that. And I can't remember full, because that was the first time on the mountain exactly what was said. But I remember at campfire that night when that young lady said that she was going to try out for the basketball team. And it wasn't in a way of, you know, saying, hey, no, go defy, don't get out of line or disrespect your parents in any way. You know, be able to show your passion and be able to make sure that you're in line and in respect with the people who are providing for you. But it was just a magical thing that, like I said, it puts my teeth out. It makes me super thankful that I'm able to make magic. It's just a feel good thing. For those of you who know anyone who is a rising junior or a rising senior in Guilford County schools right now, let's get them involved with NCCJ, because right now they are definitely creating a space due to COVID to have teen hangouts where we get the luxury of just still engaging, you know, doing some temperature checks, like, hey, let's check the weather. How are you feeling? But just the conversation starters, because the passion that has grown with people of how much they now care for others, like they then take over and they start lifting everyone up. It's a magical thing, guys, that I could go on and on all day talking about. But thank you, Ivan, for giving me the opportunity, and thank you to the chamber for allowing us to come in and talk about NCCJ and the magic that we make. Before I shut up, I did not add it, but I know Julianne will kill me if I don't say I am a board member for PFLAG here in Greensboro as well. I am so sorry that I left that out, but that's I'm so passionate, especially when it comes to the youth in this community, because I do believe that they are the future. I know the feeling and the power of acceptance and how real it is. So thank you.
Thank you, Ivy. So I guess the big $1,000 question that people are probably asking at this point is, in Anytown happening this summer? Anytown, we made the decision about a month ago to cancel the June session, and because the numbers of the state have been going up over the past couple of weeks, we made the really tough decision this week to be able, that we were going to have to cancel the July session. But what we are in the process of doing is using the week that we already were planning to have Anytown, which I believe is like the week of July 12th. And the program team at NCCJ is focused on coming up with some alternative programming that would be day programming that would not be residential, it would be in person, and a mix of virtual program and in-person things in small groups, that we would be able to do some programming for young people this summer, because we know in the state that we are in right now, this work is needed more than ever. And so it will look a little different this summer. It'll probably be a shorter program over the span of 2 days. And we may try to run that a few times throughout the month of July to be able to provide an opportunity and space for young people to come together around some of our current events in a way that feels like Anytown without really being able to do what we have usually been able to do. So that's kind of where we are. I know we're almost at time, so I want to allow, in case people have any questions that they want to ask Ivy or myself before we go to the networking time.
So good morning, everybody. This is Marion. I have heard about this for quite a while now, but really never knew exactly what this was about. And that is one of a wonderful, wonderful program that I didn't know really existed. So I have two things. First, Ivan, congratulations on your 5 years. And Ivy, you cannot tell that you're passionate about it. I mean, you are just oozing, and it's really great to see that that passion that you have and that you can bring to other people, especially the young people that are sometimes so lost in their own. It's a hard time, anyways, and if you have even some obstacles in your way that others might not understand, and you have nowhere to go, I think I can't even put words to it how valuable this is, especially for the younger ones that are coming up and will be our future, and hopefully will have that drive to bring the communities together as we would like to see it. And then the other thing is, how can you get involved with your organization? What can I do? What can we do to help and be a part of that?
Really great question. In terms of thinking about what people can do, I think that the first thing I would say to that would be beginning to think about the ways that you can be a champion for this in your own circle. You know, so right now, some of the challenge of doing this work is in the age of COVID, where it's more difficult for us to bring people together to be able to do some of this work. We do have some virtual volunteer opportunities and things that will be happening this summer. I would say the first place, if you're not connected to us, would be to go to our website, which is nccjtriad.org. And you can sign up there to get email notifications. We don't overly email. I think it's like once a month. But there are opportunities, and we provide resources and things like that through that mechanism. So for a lot of people, that's a really good entry point to help. I think the other thing that I would say is to think about where there are opportunities for in your space to be able to bring, even if it's not NCCJ, but how you can have these conversations. Like, you know, are you a member of a book club, or are you a member of a house of worship that you could think about? What does it look like for us to maybe have some different conversations around diversity and inclusion than we've had, or maybe it's the first one. And you know, as you can imagine, the last couple of weeks have been extremely busy for us here at NCCJ, and I think will continue for a while. But, you know, I'm even happy to hop on a call with somebody and say, like, we're thinking about doing this thing in our organization. And, you know, the first part, it could just be, we're going to watch a TED Talk together, and we're going to have a dialogue around a topic, you know, and maybe that's the right first place for your book club to start, or your house of worship. So I will share my email address in the chat for people if you want to connect directly with me, and we can find some time to chat. Another couple of questions that I've seen come through the chat have been, what does our workplace programming look like? So we do a lot of work. I think our sweet spot for programming is really helping organizations think about, if they have values of diversity and inclusion, how are they really living those values out, and are they including everyone in that? So obviously the sort of buzzwork right now is around doing implicit bias training. We do have those. We do a lot of customizing of programming based off where organizations are. A lot of times I like to say for NCCJ, we sometimes do work with organizations that this may be the first place that they've started having these conversations. And so one of the things I think is really important for just our philosophy of programming is that we want to meet people where they are and bring people into this conversation around diversity and inclusion, because not everybody is at the same place that some of us that have been doing this work for a long time are. And so I think we all can admit that we need more people, not less people, focused on this work. So I'm happy to connect with people individually around that. And those can be customized around what the needs of the organizations may be at that moment. And then the last question, and then I'll stop talking, is there's a question around generational impact that we've seen from having over 30 years of Anytown. Yes, so one of the really exciting things with COVID that we are having is we are doing virtual Anytown reunions throughout the month of June. Some of it is to be able just to hold space for our graduates to process some of the stuff that's happening in the world at the moment, and connect with them and hear what they're doing. You know, obviously we've got graduates out of the country. We have them in California. We have them everywhere. And so a lot of these folks have, I always say, like, Anytown is formative for them in a way that they either make a conscious decision around the type of work that they want to do. So maybe they decide to do work that is more social justice focused. And even if they're not, I was telling a donor one time, I said, you know, we obviously also have students who end up saying they're going to go and take a banking job. But what they do is these are some of the folks that are in organizations that are championing and moving their companies to do more diversity and inclusion, and to think about what their volunteer opportunities are, and like, what are they doing around diverse recruiting. So, you know, I always say, like, people are able to do this work from the seat that they occupy within an organization. And those are just some of the things. And then, you know, we now have Anytowners on the board of NCCJ that are now sending their children. Like, I mean, it becomes this sort of cycle that we're beginning to see where people are just championing that. And so I think we have a new opportunity to figure out more how to activate those alumni because of COVID, and people are used to getting on a Zoom call, that we may be able to think about what does this look like for us to begin to put seeds in other communities and arm our Anytown grads all over the country with something easy potentially that they may be able to do that may help those communities. So really great questions.
Okay, thank you, Ivan and Ivy. Program is amazing. Ivy, did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No.
Okay, Ivy. Ivy looks stuck on my screen. Just let me know.
I lost myself for a second. I'm sorry, but I'm back. I was just gonna say that I really had a great time and with engaging with you all. I know, again, like Ivan said, that his organization does a great deal, and I think I caught a glimpse of the last thing that flew by. They do such an amazing job training the trainer. This is how this energy gets to show up. NCCJ has been a place where I have gained a great deal of facilitation skills, a great deal of support, finding my voice and being able to take feedback in a way to direct others. So they do a lot of train the trainer. I know that Ivan's going to say I did bring, at least I brought something to the table to work with, but it's an amazing type of training organization and giving organization that I'm, like I said, thankful to be a part of.
Great, thank you so much, Ivy. Thank you both. That's a phenomenal presentation. We appreciate you guys. I know we call on you. I know, Ivy, we see you at least once a week right now, a lot. You guys give us a lot of support, and we appreciate that. We will have a winner texted to me soon for the drawings. So if you haven't entered into that, last chance, Holly's put the link or the information in the chat. So text PERK, PERK to 55687 if you want some masks or a gift card to Deep Roots. We'll kick off the networking portion of Coffee and Conversation. So we definitely miss seeing you all in person. We see lots and lots of familiar faces. We're excited to see so many of you. This is kind of a quick version. We've got about 50 people on here. So the way that we typically do this is we give you the opportunity if you raise your hand through the raise your hand option. Or if you pop your name in the chat or just say you would like to share something about your company, keeping it very short, knowing that we have so many folks. But if someone wants to volunteer to go first, we always love that person that steps up and says, sure, I'll share a brief moment. It looks like we've got several. Ainsley, I think you're spotlighting, so I can't see, but just pop somebody up for us.
Tara wanted to speak.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tara Sandercock with the Community Foundation of Greater Greensboro. Really love the program and the opportunity to get together. What I thought I would mention is just that the city is sponsoring a set of virtual events tomorrow in observance of Juneteenth, the celebration day. And so I know it's on the city website, and I can probably look here in a minute to find the exact citation to put in the chat. But it just looks like a beautiful set of experiences that explore the history of Juneteenth and also celebrate the important day that it is. So I just encourage everyone to tune in for a little bit of that tomorrow.
Awesome. There's Holly. I was waiting for it. I know Brent sent it to all of us yesterday. We're having tomorrow off to join in those celebrations. So I know our staff is very excited to log into some of those things. So I knew Holly was on it.
Great. Thank you, Holly.
That's awesome.
And I know Amanda Warren wanted to share.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Hope you're all staying well and safe. I'm Amanda Warren with the Triad Business Bank. We are a new community bank in the area. We opened our first headquarter location in Greensboro in March, but we are definitely a community bank that's a catalyst for our community with local decision making and local needs. We were able to help over 300 businesses with the PPP program, and we didn't get that approval until the day the application started rolling in. So we look forward to being active in the community and showing how we can help with the inclusion and diversity and just really helping the community grow with their needs and capital needs as everyone navigates this COVID-19 and other scenarios. But thanks for the time. Look forward to working with everyone.
Thank you, Amanda.
Sarah Healy.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. Just wanted to give a brief update. On Tuesday night, we council passed to give a DGI administered program of $250,000 to our Greensboro businesses to help rebuild after the events of May 30th and 31st. And we are going to hit the ground running. We sent an email to our downtown businesses yesterday, and we are getting the data form for them to fill out, FAQs, hiring a staffer to be the point person who will start on Monday. So just lots more in the works to build downtown to better than ever. And just want to let you know, if you need any information or want to get that out to your to any businesses you know that are affected, we'll have information on our website on Monday.
Thank you, Sarah. That's fantastic. It's nice to see you in the office.
It's good to be back. Working from home with a 4- and 7-year-old, let's just say I'm happy to be in the office.
Definitely. Ainsley, who else?
Well, it looks like Corey has some good information in the chat that we just want to bring to everyone's attention. So especially for those who maybe have been furloughed or know people who are looking for a job. And then good old Tracy, thank you. Tracy Stoll Why don't you tell people?
Thank
Tracy?
you. I was gonna say, you get on here and tell people.
I know, we'll pick on you. Ambassadors, we're gonna pick on them.
Okie dokie.
And happy birthday this week.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's my last year in my 50s, which is terribly depressing, but there you go. So I would like anybody who is interested in visiting Leads Group 1. We are meeting virtually right now. We meet on the 2nd and 4th Wednesday of the month. If you would like to be invited, I put my email in the chat. You can also contact Katrina and she can send you the link as well. We would love to have you visit. We are a very diverse group of different kind of businesses and we work really hard to help each other. So if you're interested in coming to visit us, our next meeting is next Wednesday at 9 a.m.
Awesome. Thank you, Tracy. All right, who else? This is your chance. This is your elevator pitch opportunity to 50 other folks.
May I do it, please?
Hey, John.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm with the JER HR group, and we are we offer full spectrum of HR consulting and training. And many of you know David Moff, and have joined the HR group, which is now JER HR group. David's kind of stepping aside, and I'm kind of trying to continue the work that he's done so magnificently for almost 20 years. Anyway, great program today, Ivan, and enjoyed it very much. I know that I'm in the Rotary Club, and I think we donated our lunch to you guys recently, which makes me even feel better now that I've gotten a little more acquainted with your program. But I did want to tell everyone that I saw that somebody had inquired about programming for inclusion and diversity, and we do offer, that's one of our core programs through our leadership development, is that we do offer DE&I training and consulting through JER HR Group. And right now, to help out during this time, we're offering 25% off of all of our consulting now through the end of September, through the end of the third quarter. So if anybody's interested, please give me a call, and I'll put my number down on the screen. So anyway, enjoy the program and enjoy being on this morning.
Awesome, thank you.
Doug Copeland, you had your hand raised.
Thank you so much. I simply wanted to start by thanking the Chamber for putting this together. You know, we have all been, if you will, quarantined, lockdown, whatever, and it is so nice. I sat in on one of your programs last week as well, but it is so nice to see everybody again, even though it's in a different format. So I just wanted to thank the Chamber and everything you've done to put this together. I will close with my shameless plug. I'm now with Furniture Land Contract. And so if anyone does need furniture for their home or office or a home office, we're here to help you. Thank you so much, Tracy and Ainsley, for putting this together.
Thank you, Doug. Everybody's popping in from the Chamber staff to say they miss you. We miss seeing you. You're such a good advocate for us. We appreciate that, Doug. We do. All right. Ainsley, I know James Rosa's got his hand up, and then we're going to go to Ivy.
Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. This is James Rosa, co-founder and executive director of the Rosa Foundation. Ivory, it's always good to hear you speak. You don't know how you helped me in your Facebook speeches and stuff like that. Thank you, and I appreciate it. I just want to give you guys an update. United Way in the city of Greensboro, and I believe the Chamber of Commerce has something to do, and we was able to get a grant for the coronavirus relief fund. And we fed, I want to say about 75 senior citizens in the last 3 weeks. And we're about to do hopefully another 40. We're running out of money, so what my company is going to do, I work for a company called Temperley out in Trinity. They're going to donate some beds to us so we can auction off. So we can raise some more money to feed some more senior citizens in our community, because a lot of our senior citizens are at risk and they really can't come out and do any shopping, or some of them are scared to come out and shop. So what we're doing is we're meeting up with Masonic lodges and OES chapters in our community, and we put the boxes together and they go out and deliver it for us. And we give them about at least a week's worth of groceries. So, we're going to continue to do that as much as we can. We are trying to raise money for that as well, so we don't just stop at that grant. We want to continue and do this as long as we can. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, James. All right, before we move, we're going to go to Ivy, but before we do that, I do have the winners, and this is going to be fun. So for the masks, our winner is April Jones. So yay, April. And for the gift card, this is the fun part. We don't have a name. We have the last 4 digits of a phone number. So 0715. So if the last 4 digits of your phone number are 0715, let us know, and that way we can get you your gift card.
That's
Now we'll
mine.
move to Ivy. There we go. It's Amanda. Congratulations.
Thanks.
All right. And then Ivy had something she wanted to share. So Ainsley, I
Of
don't know.
course. Yeah, no, thank you. While we're talking about things, before COVID hit, I had a contract with Wake Baptist Medical Center. I was teaching sexual orientation and gender identity training for service providers. I just want to plug, especially since the ruling on Monday, yay, 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 that I do sexual orientation and gender identity training. I've been gender spectrum trained and would love to be able to lift that up to offer any assistance, especially when we're motivating hospitable behavior in the workplace.
Awesome.
I'm going to put my email address in the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Also, Ivan has shared in the chat an infographic for Juneteenth that's going to be shared on social media today, so make sure that you share that. Also, as a reminder, if you want to save the chat before I close the meeting today, if you click on the 3 little dots down in the corner, it gives you that option to save it. So today's is full of excellent resources, excellent information. So I will give you a chance and I'll remind you before I close the call today.
It
Ainsley,
looks like just a couple more minutes. Mike Stepanov, it looks like you have your hand raised.
Yes, I do. I just want to ditto what Doug Copeland said, and it's great that the chamber brings everybody together with a coffee and conversation. And I'm a volunteer for the chamber ambassador. I'm also in Leeds Group 1 and a member of Greensboro Rotary, and I know 3 or 4 in this group today are members of Greensboro Rotary. And we all miss getting out for coffee and conversation. And it's very nice of the chamber to do this and keep the community connected. And I'll give a quick plug. I'm a financial advisor with Edward Jones. We're still open for business via methods like this, Zoom and WebEx and telephone conferences. But if anybody needs a financial plan for their business, 401k, IRA or something, I'm still available. But again, I want to thank the chamber for their involvement in the community and keeping a positive note on the community.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for everything that you do for us too. We have an ambassadors group that meets once a month. They are essential to us. They're so helpful. But Mike recently just dominated the entire ambassador group. We played Kahoot, and it was Greensboro-based questions and some really hard ones in there. And he got all of them, I think, right, except for one.
I've been here a long time. That's why I'm in Greensboro.
But we appreciate you, Mike.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Last chance. Oh, Tara. Tara's got her hand up. You see her, Ainsley?
There we go. Sorry for doing more than one, but I just wanted to promote that the Guilford Nonprofit Consortium is offering a workshop on June 30th called Beyond Resilience. And it's being led by Dr. Pamela Palmer, who I think many of you in the nonprofit arena know. And it's going to be very focused on nonprofits working through the challenges of this time we are in. So June 30th, and I'll put the website here. It should be fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you. A couple of things that are coming up from a chamber perspective for those of you, and I know there are several on here that were joining us for our daily action calls. Back in the early days of the pandemic, we started doing daily action calls to share information with the membership and just to connect. We stopped doing those several weeks back, and now we will be starting up a weekly version of that. So next week, we will kick off the first of the weekly action calls. They'll be on Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, same time our daily action calls were. So you'll see that promotion start to come out. Also, if you check the Chamber website, you will see our networking calendar. So the member engagement team is desperately missing all of our members and ways to touch base. Every month we have multiple opportunities. Coffee and Conversation is the third Thursday of every month. The second Monday of every month we have a Member Engagement Monday, and that is for members to connect inside of their group. And then on the fourth Monday of every month, we do Member Jumpstart, which is for new members to learn all about the Chamber resources and what we have to offer. So we definitely encourage you to jump on those on the membership side. But we have, I think yesterday we figured out every single day for the rest of the year, except for about 14, we have some way for you to connect with us. So across Action Greensboro, Launch Greensboro, all of our different programming, there are so many ways to contact and connect with us. So we just want you to go and check those things out. Before we go, I'll give one last shout out to our Circle of Champions. We have several folks on the call today that represent some of these companies. We could not do what we do without you, and we appreciate you and your support. With that, I will say goodbye. We'll give everybody 6 minutes back on this Thursday, and we hope to see you all soon.